explanation of symbols on worksheets are as follows. Use coloring crayons to color the picture. Use your finger to follow the track or line or show the correct picture. Use a coloring crayon to draw a line or write a number or sound. Look at the picture and say the number or sound out loud. Use a scissors to cut on the dotted line. Look at the picture. Use these symbols for the lesson of the day, which will be allocated at the top right side of each page. For example, Lesson 1, Prepositions and Directions.
Welcome to My Zone Online School. My name is Teacher Netsai, and let's welcome my friend. Today's theme is time. Now let's sanitize our hands. Rub, rub, rub your hands back, inside and forth. Now your hands and mine are clean. We have sanitized. Rub, rub, rub your hands back, inside and forth. Now your hands and mine are clean. We have sanitized. Today's lesson is the letter W, coloring, handwriting, and directions. Now let's turn to page 19 of our booklet. And what do we see? We see letter W. W is for water. It is a very important letter in the alphabet. I will tell you why. W sounds as W, W, W. W for water, for watch, for wheels, for walls. Can you imagine yourself without water? No. It would not be healthy for you to stay without drinking water. Can you imagine yourself in a house without a watch? You will be late for school every day. Can you imagine driving a car without wheels? I'm sure that car will not move. Can you imagine being in a house without walls? You will be very cold this winter. So letter W stands for water, watch, wheels, walls, and winter. Think of other words that begin with letter W or sound W. Now let's move and look at the same page at the bottom. It says, write the letter W in the blocks. I'm going to move to the board and demonstrate to you how we are supposed to write letter W. I would call my friends to come over and trace letter W starting from the top with your index finger going down. We go up straight, down again, and up. Thank you very much. Well done. Well done, my friend. I will also show you how we write it. We will start from the top, letter W. From the top, we go down, joining the dots all the way. We go up and we go down straight. We stop right there. We continue without picking up our pencil until we are done. Let's go back into our booklet and look at letter W. Now the instruction says, write the letter in the blocks. Before you write, I want you to trace with your finger the letter W on the top of the page, starting from the dot. Let's go together, down, straight down and up, and down and up. We have finished tracing. Now pick up your pencil or your crayons and trace the letter W in the first block. Good. Now copy the letter W in all the blocks. Well done. Once you are done with page 19, let's turn to page 20. On page 20, the instruction says, choose 3 colors, help the fisherman to catch the fish. There are 3 fishermen in the boat, and they have the fishing rods in their hands. The first fisherman has letter A on his chest. A is for Andy, so we shall call the first fisherman Andy. And then we have fisherman B, and we will call fisherman B Bobby. And we will call the next or even the last fisherman with the letter C on his chest, fisherman Casey. Now we would like to help them to catch the fish. Let's start off with Andy. Let's take our crayons. We will always start from the top, where the fishing rod is. Let's go down all the way and connect the dots. Let's go down. Let's see what fisherman Andy is going to catch. Just follow the line and connect the dots. Can you see what Andy is going to catch? What will he catch? Well done. According to what I have seen my friend doing here, you have caught the boot. So fisherman Andy caught the boot instead of a fish. Let's move over to the next fisherman. You need to take a different color for fisherman Bobby with letter B on his chest. And trace from the top, trace all the way down and join the dots and see what Bobby is going to catch. Yes, you will find out what Bobby is going to catch. I would like you to continue with the rest of the activities and finish connecting the dots and find out what Andy has caught, what Bobby has caught, and what Casey has caught. Well done. I believe we have finished page 20. Let's move or turn to page 21. On page 21, it allows us to relax a little bit. All we need to do, it's very simple. It says here, color in the dog and cut it out. So you need to color in the little puppy the way you like. But remember, when we color, we need to decide what direction are we going to color. Are we going to color from top to bottom until the rest of the picture is completed, or we will color from left to right, which means sideways, until the rest of the picture is completed. You may use different colors, be creative as much as you can, and have a lovely, colorful puppy. Then you can cut it out and paste it onto page 22. So that is one activity that you have to complete today. Let's move on to page 23. On page 23, it says, trace the dotted lines. We need to complete the nice pattern. And I have it on the wall with me, and I will invite my friends to demonstrate to us how we are going to do it. We always start from the left, going to the right. So here is our little line which has been drawn for us. Now you need to complete or to join the dots, connect the dots, and connect the dots until you get to the end. My friend is going to show me how to do it. There we go. Well done. Until she gets to the end of the dotted line. Well done, my friend. Let's get back to our booklet. Let's look at the next picture. The next picture below the pattern shows us a dragon. And on the dragon, it has some spikes on its back. Now we need to trace the dots and join or connect the dots. We will start from the dragon's tail until we reach the dragon's horns. Right, let's do that together and take it slowly and slowly and make sure it's nice and neat. Once you are done, we move over to the next picture just below the dragon. And that is a whale's mouth. A whale has so many teeth, and we need to connect the dots once more. Let's go over to the whale's mouth and connect the dots to complete the whale's teeth. Well done. Now we have another picture, and this is a very special tool, but it is also very, very sharp. Daddies usually use it for cutting wood, cutting down trees, and we call it a hacksaw. So we need to complete the hacksaw's blades. Remember, we start from the left to the right. Let's pick up our pencils and trace the dotted lines connecting the dots. Do not pick up your pencil until you get to the handle of the hacksaw. Well done, boys and girls. I know you have done it very well. Now, we have something interesting on page 24. I want you to look at the arrows that are on the worksheet on page 24. The first arrow shows us the right direction. It's pointing to the right. The second arrow is pointing up. The third arrow is pointing down. And the fourth arrow is pointing to the left. These are the directions I would like you to learn today. Now you need to show the directions with your own hands. I'm going to invite my friends to stand up with me, and let's try this activity as we show the directions. Okay, my friend, which one is your left hand? Your left hand? Good. Well done. And now, which one is your right hand? Yes. Well done, my friend. I want you to point up. Can you point up? Show me the directions and stretch out your hand right up. Yes, well done. Good girl. Now, I want you to point down. Yes, she is pointing down. It is very important for us to understand which part or which directions is left and which direction is right and which is up and which is down. Well done, my friend. Let's take our seats. Let's move over to page 25 of our booklet. On page 25, this is a very easy activity that we are going to do. Pick up your pencil or your crayon. Right. It says here, connect the dots. There is a little baby who is stuck right up on the ladder. Wow, some steps are missing. Let's put steps for the baby so that the baby can come down. We will always start connecting the dots from the left to the right. There are little arrows that are shown where you are supposed to begin and where you are supposed to end. Now let's connect the dots until we get to the bottom of the ladder. Well done. I'm sure you have been able to complete this activity. Now we move over to page 26. Page 26 is a very easy activity. I hope you will be able to follow the instructions, which says follow the instructions. Follow the arrows. We will start from the top, going down, connecting the dots. So let's do that together until we complete and see what we are going to have. The first is a ladder, but it's incomplete. You need to join the dots, starting from the top, going down. And we will have to move on to the next picture, which is a swing. The baby needs to find somewhere to hold. So we will start from the top, going down to where the baby is seated. Join the dots. Once you are done, I am glad we have completed lesson 4 for today. I hope you have enjoyed today's lesson. And now let's sanitize our hands. Rub, rub, rub your hands back, inside and forth. Now your hands and mine are clean. We have sanitized. Rub, rub, rub your hands back, inside and forth. Now your hands and mine are clean. We have sanitized. Now it's time to invite Zoshi. It's time to say goodbye, Zoshi.
Hi everyone, my name is Zoshi. I'm back. And you can always stay active throughout the lockdown. You can play with your friends, but keep your distance. Like me and my friend. Yay! And you can also talk and sing to be active. Until next time, bye!
Humanitarian crises are all too familiar to television viewers. Civil wars that cause huge movements of refugees, worldwide pandemics, and natural disasters like earthquakes and tsunamis. This is the way most of us are used to seeing these heart-wrenching events, on a screen in front of us, watching passively. But what if you could step into the frame and actually feel what it's like for the individuals on the ground?
People come out of it feeling enlightened and often moved and often ready to take action. A lot of people automatically say, well, what can I do? How can I get involved?
Garbo Aurora is leading a team at the United Nations who are using cutting-edge technology to raise awareness, empathy and funds, both to respond to humanitarian crises and to bolster support for a new set of sustainable development goals around the globe.
Virtual reality is the ability to really take part in a story that usually you're only a passive spectator on. And you actually get the sensation of feeling like you're being there.
By using multiple cameras that can record in all directions and software that can stitch the images together, virtual reality creates an experience that enables the viewer to see a movie from every angle, above, below, and behind.
It's exciting for the UN, to be involved in some of those early experiments of how we're trying to tell stories, make these films, and work with some of the most cutting-edge people in the industry on it.
So the UN reached out to us and connected, and we realized that there was a great opportunity here to tell some very important stories and to tell them in a way that we thought would be totally new and highly impactful. The way that I define virtual reality at this point in time is basically the hacking of your senses to convince you that you're somewhere other than where you are. Often, I think of it as a sense of vulnerability. So one of the things we've realized in some of our stories is you have a heightened sense of empathy and a heightened sense of connection as a result of that vulnerability.
That heightened sense of connection and empathy was exactly what Garbo Aurora was looking to create at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland. Not only to inspire leaders to take action, but also to influence donors to increase funding for disaster response efforts.
I'd started experimenting with using innovative ways of advocacy, and I started talking to a lot of different partners and people. What could we do that would be incredible? And someone said, I just came from a meeting at Samsung, and, with some of these other virtual reality headsets, wouldn't it be amazing if you got all of those elite people who could actually go to a refugee camp, or they could go to an Ebola clinic? I just really felt it would get our issues highlighted.
In addition to the screenings at Davos, virtual reality portals have been set up to view the films at high-level political forums around the world. The virtual reality film on display was Clouds over Sidra.
Clouds over Sidra is a short film in virtual reality about a girl named Sidra who lives in Zatari camp, which is a Syrian refugee camp in Jordan. And it is a story about a young girl who is giving you a tour of the camp, of what it's like, what her life is like. When the film debuted in Davos, it was a sensation to everyone we showed it to. They come out of it very deeply moved. I'd say half the people who watch Clouds Over Sidra cry. And then we cut a version for UNICEF, for its face-to-face fundraisers. The way they do that is usually someone with a clipboard on the street in Europe or in different countries. So they thought, well, what if we got people to experience virtual reality on the street?
Quite sad. They don't have a good environment to stay. We try our best to help them.
Early reporting from UNICEF has shown that when using virtual reality, they've doubled the effectiveness of their fundraising efforts. This report was produced by Ben Light.
Many countries that have passed their first peak of COVID-19 are experiencing a second rise in cases. Is this a second wave of infections, and could even more waves lie ahead? Previous pandemics might give us a clue. The 1918 Spanish flu was the most deadly pandemic in modern history. It killed at least 50 million people. Its second wave was the most deadly by far, killing millions more than the first and third. More recent outbreaks, such as SARS and swine flu, have also had 2 or more waves, so it looks like the COVID-19 pandemic could have several too. The World Health Organization has warned about the dangers of a deadly resurgence. Many countries and places have seen infections accelerate after bringing their first waves under control. These rises aren't necessarily new waves. They could be spikes. Spikes are rapid rises in cases that aren't sustained, whereas waves happen over longer periods and often contain several spikes or peaks. Second waves only take place after a first wave has retreated. Many scientists believe more waves are inevitable and think a worse one could hit during autumn or winter. Some other coronaviruses spread faster when the weather is cold. If this is the case with COVID-19, it would put health systems under huge pressure. Many people are still vulnerable, and immunity to the virus might only last a few months for those who recover. It's also possible that mutations to the virus could lead to new waves. Hundreds of mutations have been found, and some could potentially make the pandemic more severe. One mutation may have already improved the ability of the virus to bind its spike proteins to human cells. This strain of the virus appears to unlock cells more easily and has become dominant around the world. It's unknown how the virus will continue to change, but further mutations could make it even more dangerous and harder to control. A reliable vaccine would help solve many of these problems, but it may take many months or even years to find one. Until then, we all need to make long-term lifestyle changes to protect ourselves from further waves. How are you learning to live in a world with COVID-19?